With that in mind, I went off to college. I majored in political science and I minored in business. And when I graduated in 1995, I graduated in the half of the class that made the top half possible. Got the transcripts to prove it, but I graduated. That's the important thing. When I graduated in 1995, the economy was a little bit like it is now. Good jobs were hard to find. And at that point, I had a couple of different options. My first option was to move to Nashville, Tennessee, and move in with my mother and stepdad. But as I began to think about that more and more, it occurred to me that moving back in with my mother and stepdad, well, that would basically be the equivalent of breaking back into Alcatraz. For those of you that may not remember, Alcatraz was a prison. So instead, I decided to move to Austin and live with my grandparents instead. But a few months into that whole journey, another realization hit me, and that was that there are only so many episodes of The Golden Girls that I really care to watch. The Golden Girls. Grandma thought they were funny. Grandpa thought they were hot. Yeah. So it was at that point in my life, I decided it was time to take a risk. And I'm a firm believer that standing here today, that where there is no risk in life, there is usually very little in the way of reward. The risk for me was moving to Pensacola, Florida. I moved out there with my best friend from college. My plan was to get a master's in public administration, find a good government job, meet a girl, and live happily ever after. Well, I moved out to Florida, couldn't find the job, couldn't find the girl, and was having to pay out-of-state tuition. So really that turned out to be basically a year-long vacation in Florida, but I used my time wisely. In any event, that whole year I felt like, and that whole life experience was pointing me in a direction, and that direction was back to Texas. In 1997, I began my studies at Southwestern Seminary. Through that process, met Zig Ziglar, started my motivational speaking, etc., and that's where I am today. The path and the journey hasn't always been easy, but if there's one thing that has really kind of kept me going, it's just the model and trying to be persistent in everything that I do.